Yes, my people, man. I hope everyone is doing well. Make sure you're smashing that like button and make sure you are subscribing to the channel. We're on that road to 3,000 subscribers. My God, we have got updates for you. Big updates for you to talk about. We've got Isak's situation, Mark Guehi. Are Liverpool going to bring in anybody else this transfer window? There is literally now 5 days to go. 5 days to go in this transfer market. And I want to try and get to 2.3k by the end of the transfer window. And we're literally about less than 90 away. So if you can hit that subscribe button and make sure you're liking the stream, it will be well much appreciated. But we have got big updates for you all. We're talking Alexander Isak. We're talking Mark Guehi. We're going to be diving into it all. We're going to be listening to what TalkSport, more rubbish they've been saying about our beloved club. I want to react to that and give my thoughts on that. You know, we've got to do the daily TalkSport cooking. You want to know how we do it on this damn channel. The daily TalkSport cooking. And yeah, we already got literally just about 40 of you in the building. We've only been live for a couple of minutes. So yeah, let's get into the chat and let's get into all the news for you. Let's get into the comments. You streaming tonight, bro? I'm free. I'm streaming right now, and then we'll release a video later. Big up, lads. Smash the likes. Big up, prediction. Isak, yes or no? We're gonna dive into that, mate. I react. When do you think the Isak bid? Liverpool, do you think there will be a bid? I'm going to star your comment. I'm going to get back to that, mate, for you. Big up reacts. Slap the likes and subscribe. Yeah, man, we've already got 50 of you in the building. We're on 16 likes. I reckon today's stream, we could get a solid 50 likes. 50 likes on today's stream, people. So make sure you're hitting the likes. And, yeah. Right, we're good to go. So yeah, let's try and get to 25 likes quickly as possible. Big up to you, mate. Likes up, yeah. So people, this is what is coming out from Craig Hope, and we're going to get into Fabrizio's update afterwards. There is a strong feeling around the close to the club that Isak's situation is beyond repair and a sale is best for all parties. Well, we discussed this last night. Make sure you go and watch that stream back between between me and Uncle. We discussed the Isak situation, all the news around that. You know, there is reports about £130 million bid going in. Let me go to my bookmarks for you. I'm going to bring that tweet up. So yeah, Graham Bailey, Liverpool are preparing a bid that will surpass 130 million for Alexander Isak. Liverpool's new bid could reach 140 million with potential add-ons. Newcastle are anticipating a bid. IndyCar news as well. New bid, FSG given it all clear. Alexander Isak has made it clear he wants out of Newcastle for Liverpool Football Club. According to our sources, LSC got the green light from FSG in Boston to submit 120 million plus 15 mil to 20 million add-ons once Newcastle gives the expected go-ahead. If you've not seen, James Pearce has now said IndyCar news is reliable. Do we need to take IndyCar news a lot more seriously? Big up to N90, mate. Hope you're well. Feels like a good day to buy a striker. Hope Newcastle agree. Well, they are looking to maybe go back in for a last and bid. After their bid was rejected. So I'm going to start a poll for you. Will Isak be a Liverpool player before the end of the window? Yes. No. Let's click on that. Also, let me just tweet out saying I am live on YouTube. Bear with me, people. 65 of you in the building now. Make sure you're hitting that like button and make sure you are subscribing to the channel as we are closing in on again more unbelievable milestones. Let me just tweet out that I'm live. Live now. Big Isak to Liverpool update. Isak. Right, let me just post that. Right, we've posted that. Let's go. So, chat, how are you feeling, man? Not really this fraud said winning to City. To be fair, when it's come to Liverpool side of things, he has been, I would say, fairly correct and fairly reliable. He has been fairly reliable, so I am going to give him that that credit. Also, we've got Simicast news as well. So let's listen to what Fabricio Romano has had to say regarding Liverpool Football Club. Let's have a listen. Right, we're not interested about Dani Ceballos. We want to hear about the Isak sitch. Right, let's go.
Something on Mark Guehi, because I can confirm that Liverpool are ready to go. Liverpool are ready to go and bid the game for more than £30 million and get Mark Guehi immediately before the end of the window. So Liverpool are still there. Liverpool want Guehi, and I don't change my position. It was weeks ago Leone and Guehi, and I maintain Leone and Guehi. But what happens now? Liverpool are waiting on Palace. It's a similar, obviously less tension, completely different situation, but similar in terms of style of the story to Alexander Isak. This deal depends on Palace. If Palace can find a replacement on the market and give the green light for Guehi negotiations, Liverpool are ready to close. If Palace will not do it, Liverpool will say, okay, we will go for Guehi as a free agent in 2026. But Liverpool are ready now. Liverpool want to do business now. So this depends on Palace. Palace have to decide if they want to keep the player and lose him on a free transfer in 2026, or if they want to find a replacement now and let Mark Guehi go. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories.
So yeah, he gave an update there on Guehi. Let's listen to what he said about Alexander Isak.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabricio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, many things to say, updates for you, ready for it, and so let's jump into it together.
Where is the video? Oh, here we go.
Many questions on Fermin Lopez because I wanted to restart where I started the day here on YouTube, Alexander Isak, because I keep receiving many questions on the future of Alexander Isak, what's going to happen, what's the topic, what's the negotiation, this and that. So guys, I know there are many reports today, but I remain on my position. I told you this earlier today, before all the reports coming from Newcastle, and I remain on my position. Alexander Isak insists on his position, on his desire, on his clear view. He wants to go to Liverpool. So despite the efforts from really important people at Newcastle, the message coming from the player, from his agent, in this direct contact he's having with the most important people into the board, into the management of Newcastle United, is that he wants to go to Liverpool. He wants to play for Liverpool. And you know, after weeks and weeks and weeks to take this position, even for with a few days before the end of the transfer window, in front of the most important people at Newcastle, well, it's showing how Alexander Isak is really not changing his point. So let's see what's going to happen. Liverpool remain there. Liverpool are still not advancing on other options. Liverpool are still having a total focus today, at least. Then Liverpool can't wait forever. That's also clear. At some point, they need a striker. So if it's not going to be Isak, they will need to look at the market. But as of today, Tuesday, and I think also in the next 24 hours, Liverpool will maintain their total focus on Alexander Isak. They want to go for Alexander Isak. They consider Alexander Isak, I told you several times, the perfect opportunity, the perfect striker, a big chance on the market with no competition, basically, because for financial reasons, for technical reasons, for whatever reason, the player is not negotiating with any other club, only Liverpool, and so it's their chance. It's a big opportunity to become the new striker, one of the best strikers around the world, to wear the Liverpool shirt. So let's follow that situation. Let's see what happens. Remember what I always tell you since end of June, beginning of July. This deal depends on Newcastle because Liverpool are ready to pay. Isak is ready to go. Personal terms are okay. This only depends on Newcastle. Many questions today, guys, on Fermin Lopez. Many questions on Fermin Lopez because there are reports coming from Spain.
Again, so Fabricio Romano, giving the update there regarding Isak, and obviously, again, this is what he had to say. We did discuss this last night. Alexander Isak, again, still wants to go. Liverpool waiting for the green light. Let's see what this is. I think tonight and tomorrow will be some more conversations. I completely agree as to why I think this is going to happen, because we just can't simply go into the season without anyone else. We simply cannot go into the season fully with Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo, Hugo Ekitike, and Chiesa as our senior attackers. I love Ryan Gamoa. I want to give him time. I know the narrative will now change. Oh my God, look what he did against Newcastle, etc., etc. We can't be putting on pressure on him to do that every single week. We can't. When did you see Craig Hope's latest tweet? I am going to have a look at that. But yeah, big up the chat, man. We've got over 116 of you in the building. Make sure you're hitting those likes. Make sure, let's try and get these likes up to 50 likes if we can. We are going to have a look as to what Craig Hope has had to say. So let's take a listen to what he's had to say regarding, the Isak situation on his behalf. As Newcastle look like potentially they're going to, potentially get a new striker. Fingers crossed they can actually get that deal over the line. Fab Bomber, apparently. A Fabricio Romano bomber. Let's have a look. Understand Liverpool now remain in active talks to sign Guehi immediately. LFC are ready to pay 30 million to get this deal done, but it depends on Crystal Palace. If Palace find a replacement and then go, Guehi said yes. It's basically just like the Isak situation. Wow, Sepp Botman, could go to Leverkusen. Wow. But I will bookmark that and come back to that. But yeah, chat, let me know, man. What are the people saying about Isak? Like, how are people thinking? Are they confident? Are you nervous? Let me know, because we are going to be live over the next hour and 15 minutes or so. So let me know your thoughts and feelings, chat. Are you getting nervous? Is it getting squeaky bum time? Because in my opinion, if we don't hear anything by tomorrow night, that's when for me it's getting a bit you know that clip where it's like I don't get nervous and all that. Yeah, that's what's going to be happening with Liverpool. But again, there's reports about a bid. This is what Craig Hope has had to say. The ball is now in Newcastle's court as to the next move. Keep Isak and hope he has a change of heart after September the 1st or negotiate a British record deal with Liverpool. Well, you might as well bin that first part then, because how many times has this guy said, I don't want to play, I don't want to reignite, I don't want to stay at Newcastle United, I want to go to Liverpool. If the latter, they would need at least one striker, if not two, to arrive in the coming days before Monday's deadline. Strand Larsen and Wissa have always been seen as replacements for Callum Wilson and not Isak. But if both deals progress at the same time, it will leave Newcastle with a decision to make as to how to proceed in the best interest of the club. There is a feeling among some close to the club that Isak's situation is beyond repair and his sell is best for all parties. So again, that's what's been coming out right now. Who's just walked into my gaff? 1 minute, chat. 1 minute. Smash the likes. Right, we're back, chat. We're back. 127 of you in the building, man. Let's get these likes to 130. Not 130. Let's try and get these up to 50 likes. 10 likes away. Let's try and get these likes up. But again, look, Alexander Isak isn't going to stay at Newcastle. He doesn't want to. How many times has he said, I don't want to play. I don't want to play. I want to go to Liverpool. How many more times does he have to keep saying, I don't want to reignite? You literally saw, I can't remember who it was. Was it some parts of their ownership went to Isak's house and said, yo, can you stay? He's like, no, I want to leave. I don't know how much more obvious he has to make it clear that he doesn't want to stay at the club. Like, how much more does he have to say he doesn't want to be there? By the way, we're 4 subscribers from 2020, so if none of you are subscribed, make sure you are subscribed. And we're 4 likes away from 50 now, so big up my community. Love and support appreciated. But I do want to play another clip for you all. Let's take a listen to what Mr. Simon Jordan has had to say about the Isak situation. Let's have a listen. So yeah, big up the chat. We're going to take a listen to this clip and then we're going to get back to talk about the Isak bid. Reports about that, do I think it'd be accepted? But let's take a listen.
Regarding the situation with Nuno and Marinakis at Nottingham Forest.
Let me know if you can hear.
Very shortly. Got to get into a whole bunch of things before we go at 1 o'clock today, because a lot going on in the game, and we are across the lot in the days that are left between now and the closing of this transfer window.
124 of you in the building.
Of course, played 2, drawn 1, lost 1. The loss coming in the 100th minute, albeit last night at home to Liverpool. 10-man Newcastle. But where's it all going regarding Alexander Isak? As I mentioned at the top of the show, it was reported last night that Newcastle co-owner Jamie Rubin and a PIF delegation, Saudi delegation, spoke to Isak at his home yesterday before the game in an attempt, it was being reported, to convince him to stay at the club. So can Newcastle call it case closed this time next week once the window itself closes? Or will rehabilitation be a whole new challenge? Eddie Howe spoke about the Isak situation as much as he knew it.
I've not been party to talks on this for a long time now. So I've been preparing the team, giving all my energy to the players that want to play for Newcastle. I think that's where my energy is best put at the moment. So we want clarity. We want to move forward. We want the sort of narrative to change, because we're in the start of the season now. We're into the action, and we've got to get results, and we've got to try and focus on what we can control. The quality of Alex, I think he would have made a difference in the 2 games. I don't think there's any denying that. But that said, the team's functioned really well, and I think the performance of the players and the team in the 2 games doesn't happen without every part of the team functioning well.
We like Eddie whenever he speaks, Simon. But should we take it very much at face value that it's above his pay grade now, and that Eddie would not, at any stage at this particular moment, be involved?
Well, he may not be party to the discussions, but he'll certainly be privy to them, won't he? I mean, he's not going to be kept out on an island on his own where he doesn't know what's going on with one of the members of his squad. It doesn't happen like that. He might not be front and centre with the player, if that is indeed the case. What he doesn't want to do is keep answering questions about Isak, because he can't give any more information. So he's trying to remove himself from the conversation as much as he possibly can and get on with the subject matter in hand, which is, I'd rather talk about the game. I'd rather not talk about this because it's not getting me anywhere in this conversation. But I would think he's perfectly clued up with what's going on with the player. Why they're tolerating it, I don't know. Why they're tolerating a player deciding that he doesn't want to play, it's outrageous. It is outrageous, whichever way you look at it, whichever mentality you want to look through, whichever prism you want to look at it through, somebody determining that because they can't get their own way, or there's a dispute about what was understood or not understood, can just not turn up to do their job. Is outrageous. No other walk of life. And there'll be a group of people, a section of people in society that's suggesting that somehow this player has his rights to behave this way. The best way to leave a football club, indeed that's what you want to do, is to leave it properly and to put your transfer request in, to make your position clear, but in the meantime, make yourself available for the job. That you're being paid to do. And it's not a case of idealist, oh, it's not how the real world works, Simon, because I'm a real world person. It's what people are prepared to tolerate. It's what people are prepared to accept.
I take it then you wouldn't have been round at Isak's house yesterday?
No, I wouldn't have been around his house, but I would have been dealing with him if indeed that we are led to believe that there's been very little conversations had with the player besides the so-called people that gave him promises that no one will ever name, and no one will ever detail, because that would, of course, make the argument totally redundant, because we know it's a crock. We know that no doubt in anybody's mind that Isak would have told whoever he wanted to tell via his ghastly little agent that he wanted to leave. But saying you want to leave and someone from the club saying, yeah, mate, leave on your own terms, are 2 different things, which is the ridiculous argument that's being advanced. It's one-sided tosh. And I sincerely hope that he gets his mind concentrated. And if there is to be sold to Liverpool, I hope that Newcastle get precisely what they want out of it, because that's how it should play out.
Are you surprised that Isak seemingly is digging his heels in as much as he is?
Well, he put himself in a position, hasn't he? He's decided that he wants to do something. Footballers are not weaklings. You know, to go out and be a professional footballer at an elite level, you have to have a certain mindset and a certain set of character about you to be able to perform at the level that you perform at. A, to become a professional footballer, and then B, to become an elite one, which no doubt this little squirt is. But the fact of the matter is his behaviour right now is poor. It's not, you know, it appalls me that this pathetic union they're saying nothing about it because it's fundamentally wrong. And when they eventually alight upon a position that contracts don't mean anything, and that hurts the lower...
Sorry, I was muted. But what I was saying was, why is he not mentioning Brentford? Why is he not mentioning Wissa? Everything Isak's done, Wissa has done. Wissa has done the exact same Isak has done. Refused to train alone, not turned up to kit announcers, not gone on pre-season tours, not gone on to any other games, not to attend any meetings. But he won't do that because it's only Wissa and Brentford, respectfully, because he knows Isak and Liverpool will get you clicks. Weak-minded, man.
Tier of football, because it won't hurt the top players. It won't hurt the top football clubs to some extent. That player contracts aren't worth anything. It'll help hurt the guys further down the pyramid when clubs can turn around and say, you ain't got a contract anymore. They're not worth anything anymore. And the transfer market is being brought to its knees because of constant challenges left, right, and centre. And maybe vested interest will see past that, and it won't be. But what we've got at this moment in time is you've got people like Wisa at Brentford. I mean, what the hell is going on?
Oh,
Who
now
do these
he's
people think
mentioning
they
it.
are? We've got a contract. And this nonsense about what I said, what I understood. What you understood, you little runt, was what was put on your contract. And what your agent understood was what was put on your contract. And you wouldn't ask for an understanding. Like I said the other day, you wouldn't want an understanding of, well, here's your contract. We're not going to write it down. We're not going to paper it. We're not going to ask you to sign it. It's an understanding, mate. No, you'd say, well, that's not a contract. Oh, but now you're prepared to bank your whole future and your direction of travel on an understanding. It's utter balderdash. And people.
Well, what else is he supposed to do? He stated he doesn't want to be there. He stated he wants to leave. It's his career, not yours. If the club aren't letting him go, what's he supposed to do? He's left to take matters into his own hands to say, look, I'm going to do this until you let me leave. If anything, I respect Wissa and I respect Isak.
People won't call it out and they won't say it for
They're
what
not
it is, and
letting
they all
him
make
leave.
excuses for it. And football gives its own orthodoxy about, oh, he's had his head turned. So what?
Let's say you were round at Isak's house yesterday, that you were, as a member of the Newcastle ownership, round at his gaff with the PIF delegation with you.
Too little, too late. Should have done it weeks ago.
What would you have said to Isak?
Want to build the bet you want in seconds with Unibet Bet Builder? Sign up and bet £10 to get £40 in bonuses. Unibet, you're on.
But it doesn't matter what I've said at that instance, because what should have been said was much earlier in the chain.
Which is what?
Well, we are
Get your tail into training.
Do your job, son. Do your job, or find out the consequences of what it means. You know, we have the ability to set you metaphorically on fire. We have the economic wherewithal and the strength of belief in the values of our football club to tell you what you're going to do. It's very simple. You can do it the hard way, or you can do it the easy way. And the easy way will be to operate at a higher level than the one that you're operating at now. Be under no illusion. Be under no illusion who you think you are and where you fit in the food chain. It's not the Bob Lord mentality of you're a serf and I'm the land baron. It's an equitable exchange between a player that signed a contract, that signed it because he wanted it, that's got 3 years left to go on that contract, and a club that might be prepared to sell him, but not on his terms. Not on the terms that suit him and the purchasing club. Liverpool's valuation, who gives a monkeys what Liverpool's valuation is? He's not Liverpool's player. So it agitates me, not because it's Liverpool, because I think Liverpool are a brilliant football club and I admire them and always have done, but because there's too much of it going on and no one stands up against it and pushes back, and they allow people to get away with murder. And I accept the principles of sometimes it's the easier way to go. But going around there, and first and foremost, why does everybody know this? What is the genuity? If I'm round at that player's house, there's nobody know about it besides a bleeding player and his agent. And if his agent wanted to flap his gums and leak it into the press, which may be the case, then that's up to him. But they wouldn't know it from my end of the equation. They wouldn't know it as soon as I walked up, knocked on his door, and as soon as I walked out, everyone knows about it. Where's the genuity in that? This should have been attended to by people in authority, in influence, people that can control people's destinies. And that one of them is somebody that runs that football club, whoever it may be, because the player's got a 3-year contract, and he should have had his mind concentrated.
Right. You would have found him by now.
Well, I would have hopefully been in a position where none of this really manifested itself.
Oh, I know, but it has. As far as we gather, the boy hasn't been fined for his conduct.
I would be.
He stays away.
I would be reminding
He's not
him.
training.
I would be reminding him, if indeed that's the case, if it's indeed the player's, it's only the player's choice. Because don't forget, we're operating through a prism of believing that the player is staying away rather than the club is saying.
But once you don't train with the main squad, the writing's on the wall, isn't it?
It is to some extent, yes. But whoever made that choice, the club would have made that choice. But if the player has refused to attend certain things, who are you to refuse to do something? Who are you? What position do you actually believe that you're in? When it comes down to the real world, what position do you actually really believe you're in that you can do precisely as you want? I'd be concentrating his mind with all kinds of things, peppering, with so many right hands, he'd be begging for a left in terms of the consequences of his behaviour. What are you doing? Do you believe that there's not going to be any ramifications for this? Forget your little Liverpool move and what you think is going to happen over there. Do you not believe that I have a contractual entitlement to make you do your job, and the ramifications of you not doing it will be far more far-reaching than you not swanning off to the football club that you fancy? Those sort of conversations. And do you think the Marinakers didn't have those conversations?
Oh, for sure. What do Liverpool do though, Simon? Now, do they facilitate this? I beg your pardon, Newcastle do. Do they facilitate his departure? If Liverpool come back in, say, with 5 or 10 million more, do Newcastle say, right, in the interest of getting something done here, let's accept it?
Well, it depends what values Newcastle think are important. If Newcastle wanted to facilitate a solution, then they could have contacted Liverpool and said, right, this is not an ideal situation for either of us. We accept the fact that you don't want to pay any more than you're prepared to pay for the valuation that you think the player's worth. But let's find a solution before this becomes unedifying, unpalatable, nobody wins. Let's have a horse trade about maybe we can put a couple of players in. Maybe we can take this player. Maybe we can take Cody Gakpo in exchange if he wants to come. Maybe we can do a bunch of things. But the fact that Newcastle don't appear to have engaged from that perspective and shifted the onus back on Liverpool, if the media-facing perspective is the reality of it all rather than the behind-the-scenes machinations that often go on, then Newcastle have left themselves. But the irony of it is Newcastle are doing the same thing to Brentford to some extent. So it happens left, right, and centre. Sure. They decided the valuation of Vissa is XYZ, so they're going to express their interest, unsettle the player, and then decide to only pay what they feel that the player's worth rather than what the selling club's worth. It's ridiculous. Someone knocks on your door, wants to buy your house. He doesn't decide what it's worth. Yeah. You decide what it's worth.
Funnily enough, you mentioned Gakpo there. There's Martin listening in Caracas, Venezuela. Wow. Include Gakpo in any deal and get him out of there. That's what he thinks. Second guess this for me, Simon. This time next week, where we're going to be.
I don't know what the conversation is.
He can't stay. They can't rehabilitate him.
Of course he can stay. In the same way that people can reintegrate.
Do you think these proud Newcastle United fans in that stadium last night would welcome him back?
Depends what they're sold. I mean, these proud Newcastle fans were running around in Thobes 3 years ago because we had a Middle Eastern consortium buying their football club, irrespective of the background noises, the reason why they might be politically challenged by that particular decision. They weren't. And now these same Newcastle fans are slightly critical of the ownership. So football fans can be sold things and told things, and they'll change their mind. Well, they may never love him again. They may never worship him and adore him, but that's a false adoration anyway. It only lasts as long as a player's doing something good for you.
Hey, it's Jenna Jameson, of course. I wanted to let you know about this new app. It's called Tango.
No, that's mad.
Alex Crook will be with us, of course, as well, TalkSport's chief football correspondent. And Alex is with us now. Alex, good morning. I think in the last few minutes, am I right, a bit of transfer news coming in involving Sheffield United and West Ham?
Good morning. No Simon with us on deadline night. That's disappointing. Sheffield United.
I didn't say that. You did, but I agree with you.
Sheffield United have completed the signing of the veteran Danny Ings. It's a one-year contract, I'm told.
What do you make of that, Danny? Danny Murphy, that is. I mean, Danny Ings still only 33. So he's got a fair bit of experience under.
Well, but that would be crazy to spend 80 million on keeper and then bin him off after 2 games, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how bizarre. What about, is the Pino lad from Villarreal, a Spanish international, done to Palace crookie?
Injured. They're still in for Johan Wissa. Interest is not dead. That can be revived between now and when we go on air at 7:00 on Monday. I think the fact that Newcastle have made 2 substantial offers now for Jurgen Strand-Larsen is significant. I know that insiders there will say, well, this is the Callum Wilson replacement. I'm not sure you spend 55, 60 million pounds to replace a player who spent the best part of the last 2 years of his career at Newcastle injured. They're still in for Johan Wissa. And I think there is every chance that Isak still ends up at Liverpool. Equally, they might close the door and try and reintegrate him. I think all options are open, but I know some sources in the North East are saying Isak definitively won't be leaving. I'm not convinced by that.
What do you think, Simon? I mean, you've been in situations where it gets a bit edgy, to say the least. This is certainly in that area, isn't it?
Well, it depends who revives the deal. I mean, it's ridiculous for the owners to go and see the player at his house. This is ridiculous balance of power trade-off. You don't go to someone's house and tell them what you think of them, do you? You get them to come to your office, otherwise you get thrown out of their house. So the balance of power in that conversation is absurd. To get text messages from people at Newcastle saying we're going to resolve one way or the other is just giving an indication of the leadership qualities that we're talking about, irrespective of how successful their fathers might be or people in their lives might have been previously. The fact of the matter is that Liverpool may well come back to the table and they may give Newcastle an exit. Newcastle have boxed themselves into a corner by saying they won't accept anything other than what they want. They've turned down, so we believe, a certain amount of money.
110.
If Liverpool come back and offer more money, then maybe that will revive the deal. If Newcastle are going to be this week, really honestly this week, and go knocking back on Liverpool's door, then if I was Liverpool, I'd offer 100 million.
Get these
If
like
Newcastle go back knocking on Liverpool's door, then what are Liverpool going to do?
So if you're Liverpool, you're done at 110.
Well, not really, no.
Maybe go up.
They can go up. There can be some other deals that can be put into the mix. Maybe there's a player trade in there. Maybe there's a creative outcome that suits everybody. I mean, the disappointing thing is that a player seems. I know Danny will say, and I know it as well, that a player gets released for international duty because he has to. But it's outrageous, really, isn't it? I mean, refuses to play for his club and go play for his country.
Well, the only advantage of that for
Sam is right. What does that look like, Danny?
Well, they
in the eyes of the Newcastle fans,
the clubs don't have a choice. Internationals get priority, but the other way to look at it as well, whether he stays or he goes,
there might be uniqueness about it. I mean,
he's got to get fit.
In normal circumstances, that's right. You're absolutely right. The club cannot stop him, but the player's refusing to play for his club. So if he's refusing to play for his club, surely there must be some degree of constant. Can't just be, I refuse to play for my club, I'm going to play for my country.
Let's just give that clarity. Well, you say, or we think that he's saying he's refusing to play.
That's what.
Has he even been asked to play?
Well, that's the question I was asking yesterday.
It's all a bit murky.
Bring us up to date on that, Alex. As far as I understand it, he's refused to train. He's maybe not train, but he's refused to be reintegrated with the squad. He has been training on his own.
That's a breach of contract.
Play, but he hasn't been fined. I mean, it's all this. I'm on the money with what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's effectively on strike, Jim. And I think the only reason he's not been fined is because Newcastle are keeping the door open for him to return to the first team dressing room, to return to their starting lineup, and they don't want to antagonise the situation further. That's not to say that he won't be fined further down the line. I think Eddie Howe has been remarkably patient with this situation, and his language, I think, has been very clever. He's deliberately not thrown Isak under a bus because he knows that he may well have to reintegrate him. He knows how important he could be for Newcastle moving forward. But having worked with Eddie for a number of years, I know that he will be deeply frustrated and a little bit hurt by the way that Isak has acted, because it was Eddie Howe who gave him the chance, who turned him into this superstar that is now being sought after by the Premier League champions. And I feel sorry for Newcastle because they've tried in vain to get players through the door. I think £55 million is a fair price for Jurgen Strand-Larsen. I think they'll bid again. And
that's well more than fair.
Yeah.
Alex, but this is the market we're in.
Yeah, exactly. Before you leave us at this stage, any news on Akanji to Palace?
Yeah, there's interest, Jim. No bid as of yesterday, and I think maybe this could be dependent on what happens with Mark Guehi. That's gone very quiet at the moment in terms of potential move to Liverpool. I think they are focusing more of their efforts on Alexander Isak. I would argue they need a centre-back just as much as they need a new centre-forward, bearing in mind how Canate has started the season and the injuries they have there. But yeah, definite interest from Palace in Akanji, but that could be another one of those domino deals. I think what we can say is that he's one of the players that Manchester City are open to offers for.
Which I find strange, and actually Akanji, I'd be amazed if he didn't have bigger clubs in for him.
Interesting, chat. Well, I'm going to get some of your comments in. I'm going to get into some of your comments now. Right, we're going to bring up that tweet, for example. Let's get into some of your comments because I'm way behind on the chat. There is a reason why Simon Jordan was not a club owner a long time. Facts. By the way, we've got over 117 of you watching. We've had over 100 watching live since we went live. So make sure you're hitting that like button, man. We're now 4 likes away from 70. So if we can get to 70 likes, much appreciated. And we're now 8 subscribers from 2,230. So again, if you've not hit the subscribe button, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Please make sure you do so. Hit the likes. Make sure you're subscribing. Stay locked in because we're going to be live for the next good 50 minutes or so. Big up to QT Mods. Hope you're well, my guy. Big up to CJ. Like and subscribe. Simon Jordan is... Yeah, Uncle, I sent you the link if you want to hop on. He is arrogant, Mr. Jordan, yes. Yeah, he's always been a tool. The Endless Talksport window shop playing thick and know it. With the endless talk sport wind up show, playing thick and know it all. Yep, I think we should just give 40 million and get Mark Guehi done. I agree. Yeah, like Sarfree is literally pointing out why he failed because he was stubborn to be an owner. What a bellend. Yeah, that song was sick in the OAN. Big up CJ, my guy. Self-rightless prick. Yeah, imagine having to work alongside that pro. It'd be a long day. You know what? Some of the TalkSport dudes are actually all right. And I'm not talking about TalkSport football. Do you know TalkSport boxing? You know, you boxing fans like Spencer Oliver, Gareth A. Davis, all them, man. I've met them all before. They're nice guys. Met Oladipo as well. I've met a lot of the TalkSport guys. Some of them are nice. And then obviously there's some of them I don't want to meet because I think they're a bit of a knob and a tool. Why Newcastle acting as if Newcastle is bigger? Wait, why Newcastle is acting as if Isak is bigger than the club? Isak is bigger than the club. Come on, big up Isak, man. Isak turned himself ways as a badass striker. If Howe made Isak, he can make another Isak. Pure profit. Again, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Facts. Exactly. Newcastle could literally have all their PSR issues sorted. Why risk keeping a player that is not going to give 100%? And Isak, again, the reports from Craig Cope, Isak is not affected by the noise and remains intent on getting his move to Liverpool. So yeah, he's not changing his mind. And what do people think after the window? To be honest with you, it's probably going to make him more angry. To be honest, it's probably going to make him more angry and more intent to not play games. I think Isak will look at this as a situation where, do I try and get back into the Newcastle team and then long term I just have to stay at Newcastle? Or do I have to just take a 4 months hit on my career and definitely get the move in January? Because if he didn't play for 4 months, does he still get the move in January? He probably does. He probably still does get the Liverpool move in January because he will still get games for international games. So he'll just have to play 2-3 games every month because of how the international breaks work and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to take a bit of a hinder on his career for the time being, but the long term, at least he knows he's going to be happy with the move. He's going to be happy and content. He doesn't want to stay there. Isak looks like a man of beliefs, and with strong morals. He's not going to go back on his word. He is not going to go back on his word. It is genuinely like someone cheating on you, right? And being lied to, and you're like, oh my god, just please, one more chance. And it's like, no, jog on. And then, you know, when the Newcastle people went round as a gaff, that's like getting your girlfriends, family people around that. Oh, give my niece one more chance. Nah, man, jog on. Isak was probably feet up here on the sofa thinking, yo, my new Amazon parcel's arrived. And they open the door and they just see 2 clans at the door. And they're like, bruv, what? Are you joking here? Like, come on, man. Absolute tits of people that thinking that's going to be the case. Absolutely, to put it blunt, retardedness. But Simon Jordan coming out and saying he doesn't feel sorry for Isak one way or another. Who's he to say this and that? Like, mate, shut up, you div. Like, shut up. Chatting absolute rubbish. Let's oh yeah, of course. By the thumbnail, it's apparently, of course, Simon Jordan defends Crystal Palace fans. Shock horror. Should we react to this one? A second bid.
Yeah, that's right. Top Sports chief football correspondent Alex Crooker's words.
Morning, always good to see you both.
Smash these
Alex,
likes, chat.
what's happening?
I'll say the same.
Let's
Hit these
kick
likes
off.
up. Let's try
Let's
and
get
get
the
to 100
latest
likes.
on Newcastle. Incredible, almost a
Make sure you're
brilliant
also
comeback,
subscribing.
wasn't it, against Liverpool? But how's the striker problem they have going to resolve itself?
Well, I think this is the saga that's going to keep us in for right up until the deadline on Monday night. I'll be on air 7 till 10 with Mr. Deadline Day himself, Jim White, just as the window closes at 7, reacting to all the big movers and shakers. And I'm pretty sure Newcastle and Alexander Isak in particular will be top of the agenda. We know they've made a second bid now for Jorgen Strand-Larsen at Wolves, £55 million, rejected. But it's unusual for a Premier League club to make multiple bids for a player without some encouragement that he's open to the move. So I'm expecting Newcastle to go in again. Wolves' stance is that Strand-Larsen is not for sale this summer. But I thought it was interesting to hear Vitor Pereira last night, their manager, saying every player has his price. I do fear for Wolves if they lose Strand-Larsen.
Alex, if Newcastle get him, does that mean that Isak will get his wish and head to Anfield?
Well, this is being billed as a Callum Wilson replacement. Obviously, he left Newcastle on a free transfer at the end of last season. They're also saying the same about Jan Wisser, who they're still trying to prize away from Brentford. I was with Keith Andrews at their game at Bournemouth last night, and he was speaking in a similar tone to Pereira, really saying that I want him to stay. He scored 19 goals for us last season, but I've not got my head in the clouds. So again, I think he knows that every player has a price. And if they do manage to get the two strikers over the line, then yes, I think that would open the door for Liverpool to revive their interest in Isak. I certainly don't think we've heard the last of that.
Crooker, there's going to be a lot of outs, isn't there, at Manchester United? Højlund, Anthony, Sancho, maybe Mainu as well. But the Sancho one, is that a worry for you as a Manchester United fan? Because it doesn't seem like he wants to join the Turkish side that come in for
anyone.
him. Yeah, anyone.
Anyone. You know, he could have gone to Chelsea.
Right, you're chatting rubbish now. But yeah, let me bring up this tweet. So obviously, chat, if you've not seen, Newcastle did get a bid rejected for Jorgen Strand-Larsen. Apparently, they're going to be coming back in with another bid. And obviously, they want 60 million and Liverpool potentially making a bid. Do you want to see? This is my prediction, chat, before we get into the Guehi talk. Because I'm going to stay live for an extra 20 minutes or so. What's my prediction and, how I think this is all going to go down ultimately is I think two things. Newcastle sign Larsen and Wisser. Liverpool buy Isak. I then think, on another flip side, if it gets to Friday, in 2 days' time, Liverpool genuinely think, you know what, sod this, we're going in now. We're going in and we're buying you. Enough is enough. No more jokes, no more this and that. We're going in and we're buying you. Simple as that. Simple as that. I genuinely believe so. And I genuinely believe that is going to ultimately be the case as to regards to Isak. I genuinely think we're going to bid for him if Newcastle haven't got the two players in. Big up, man. Big up the chat, man. 6 likes away from 80. So let's try and get to 80 likes, chat, if possible. And we are also literally 6 subscribers from 2,230. So let's try and get that today. We're trying to push towards 2.3k subs before the end of the transfer window. We've got loads and loads of content coming up for you. And also, big up to Uncle Man. We're going to be sending you a lot over to Uncle very, very soon. But look, I think it's going to turn really nasty now over the next few days, I think, because at what point do Liverpool have to turn their heads? Because it is genuinely looking like it's Isak or bust. Let me know how you feeling, man, because for me, it's literally Isak or bust right now. It looks like for Liverpool. Liverpool cannot go into this window and think, yeah, we've improved our attack. Have we improved our attack, would you say? So for the start of the window, we had Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, Chiesa, Gakpo, and that's it. Again, forever rest in peace for our Premier League champion. Again, thoughts and prayers continue to still be with the family that is affected by the loss of Jota. Our attack has gone down. Darwin Núñez has been sold. Say what you like about him, but he's been sold. Luis Diaz is a big one for me because Luis Diaz, for me, had a fantastic season from a goal output. And when he didn't get goals, I actually thought he's had a very good season overall. And the fact that is, on the left-hand side, we looked absolutely toothless. We don't really have any dynamism in the ability to change the left-hand side. Yes, we can put Florian Wirtz on the left, but we don't have another backup natural senior left winger. Yes, I love Rio and Gamoa. I've mentioned it many times on streams and videos. But the thing is, for me, we cannot be relying on a 16-year-old kid to be our backup left winger. Sorry, not a chance. That's why we need to bring in another attacking option, whether that is another striker. Arne Slot has mentioned in his pre-season thoughts before the game kicked off against Bournemouth. He did that interview and stated, we want another striker. We want another striker, because he mentioned about Hugo Ekitike playing off the left-hand side. And that's why if we can get another striker, not only that, we've boosted our attack, and we've also boosted the left-hand side because Hugo Ekitike can play there. We brought Florian Wirtz. Play Florian Wirtz in his natural position. I don't want to be seeing him on the left-hand side. Yeah, some games we can play him there. Will be cool. But ultimately, I want to be seeing Florian Wirtz playing in his natural position because that's what we brought him for. He's one of the best players in the world in that position. Therefore, they should be playing there. It's simple as that. Simple as that. There's no if, buts, maybes about it. But yeah, big up the chat, man. 3 likes away from 80. So that's what I think is genuinely going to happen. I just can't. I'm concerned we could genuinely, potentially, I genuinely think potentially clubs potentially we have to do something. I've just seen this chat, by the way, confirmed. Clubs participating in the Champions League or Europa League cannot meet in the round 3 of the League Cup. Obviously, this is a Chelsea account. Chelsea won't face any Man City, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Tottenham in the draw. So we won't face any of those teams. Y'all just give me someone easy, man. Oh, please, inshallah. So yeah, the Carabao Cup draws tonight as well. So we will do a reaction vid on that. Yeah, Slot keeps saying the fact that how many good players we lost. Exactly. Don't get me wrong. I love our attackers. I think we've got very, very good attackers, chat. But the question is, I'm sorry, we need to bolster it. This window has the potential to be the greatest. You know, there was talk about a month ago. This could be the greatest transfer window of all time by most clubs. It's one of the best pound-for-pound strikers, one of the best 10s in world football for the next 10 years, one of the best up-and-coming left-backs in Europe, and probably one of the best left-backs in the league. You also signed Jeremy Frimpong, very good squad addition. Hugo Ekitike, bright striker for the future. You also signed one of top young centre-backs in the Serie A in Giovanni Leone, and a future goalkeeper back addition in Giorgio Mandardashvili. So, this window had the potential to be literally one of the greatest by any Premier League side. Forget how much money we've spent. Look how much money we made back. There is no excuse to not go and get a striker. No excuse to not go and get a striker. It'll be absolutely criminal if we do not go and get a striker. For me, is it Isak or literally bust? No. But we definitely do need to bring in an attacker. If you said to me you'd have brought Mateta and Hugo Ekitike, I would have taken it. But now, the fact that we've wasted so much time on Alexander Isak, go and finish the job. And it is going to be interesting to see if the reports are true that we are going to submit a bid. If it is going to be 120 million plus 15 to 20 million quid, surely Newcastle accept that. Surely Newcastle accept that. I reckon that bid will actually get placed in 2 days' time, because I think by then Newcastle would have had plenty enough time to bring in an advocate replacement, to bring in the players that they needed, but they've continued to be bottling it over the course of the summer. There is absolutely no excuse now. Go and get me Alexander Isak, finish the job. Simple as that. But yeah, big up the damn chat, man. Big up the chat. Big up the chat. I do want to get into the Mark Guehi we'll get into the Mark Guehi chat, because there has been a Fabricio Romano update, and I promised we would get into that, and this is what's been said. Understand Liverpool remain in active talk to sign Mark Guehi immediately. LFC are ready to pay over 30 million now to get the deal done, but it depends on Crystal Palace. If Palace find replacement, I'm sick of it. Words. Flipping replacement. That is a new buzzword of the summer. Replacement. And let him go. Guehi has already said yes to the Reds. Let's take a listen to what Fabricio Romano has had to say. Let's have a listen.
I can confirm that Liverpool are ready to go. Liverpool are ready to go and bid again for more than £30 million and get Mark Guehi immediately before the end of the window. So Liverpool are still there. Liverpool want Guehi, and I don't change my position. It was weeks ago Leone and Guehi, and I maintain Leone and Guehi. But what happens now? Liverpool are waiting on Palace. It's a similar, obviously less tension, completely different situation, but similar in terms of style of the story to Alexander Isak. This deal depends on Palace. If Palace can find a replacement on the market and give the green light for Guehi negotiations, Liverpool are ready to close. If Palace will not do it, Liverpool will say, okay, we will go for Guehi as a free agent in 2026. But Liverpool are ready now. Liverpool want to do business now. So this depends on Palace. Palace have to decide if they want to keep the player and lose him on a free transfer in 2026, or if they want to find a replacement now and let Mark Guehi go. And so, guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories.
So yeah, that's what Fabricio had to say there. I think they are going to sell him. I think we sign him. This will be like a deadline day signing, in my opinion. Now, I've not been keeping up with Crystal Palace's transfer news, but I just think they have no choice but to sell him. Their chairman literally came out and spoke about it as an issue, losing Mark Guehi on a free. He has stated many times, just like Alexander Isak, he will leave the club eventually. Mark Guehi will not sign a contract, and if not, he'll be a Liverpool player free. And come January, he can sign that pre-agreement and be announced as Liverpool transfer for free. So effectively, if he stays at Crystal Palace, he's gone for free. There's not a chance Crystal Palace will get. They won't even get money from him in January, unless they agree to sell him for, let's say, 10, 20 million quid. But Liverpool will be like, look, we can wait another couple of more months and get you on a free transfer. You'll still be, 25? So ultimately, it's a win-win for Liverpool. Me personally, the actual asking price of Mark Guehi is actually a fair asking price in terms of his valuation. If Mark Guehi had 2, 3, 4 years left in his deal and Liverpool were paying 50 million quid, it's an absolute steal, because I actually think he's worth that as a player and his value. But ultimately, if a player's got 1 year left, I don't. I think 30 to 35 million is a fair asking price, and I do think Crystal Palace will ultimately accept. But that's what this window is all about, man. Are we going to get Mark Guehi? Are we going to get, are we going to get Alexander Isak over the line? But chat, do let me know. I want to see your lots comments. So yeah, big up to the chat. Let me get into some of your comments. Make sure you're hitting those likes, chat. We're now on 81 likes. Let's try and push towards 90 likes. And we are literally 6 subscribers away. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We're trying to push for 2.3k subs before the end of the transfer market. So yeah, we've got a couple of days to try and do that. We'll actually start that comment actually. As if Newcastle are making a way for their players, how can you expect players to come in? As Newcastle is not making a way for their players, what do you mean? Yes, lucky is mentioned the facts, the players that we lost. A lot of people just replying to each other. Do you think the EPL is a little too physical for Verts right now until the player gets used to the league? I actually don't think so. I think Florian Verts has enough physicality. I feel like people haven't really watched him very closely, because I actually think if you watch him against Bournemouth and at Newcastle and against Palace, 3 Premier League clubs, there's actually been times where I actually think Florian Wirtz has actually showed his physicality a bit. What do people mean? Did they mean about his actual physicality? Did they mean the pace of the league, the timing of the league? Like, in terms of its physical aspects, what do they mean? Are they talking about him as an actual person? Because I actually think he does have physicality. There's been times against Bournemouth where he was shugging players off the ball and running through their midfields and breaking up the lines and being that tempo setter that I've mentioned on many streams that he can be, you know? Marky and Isak will be 2 killer signings that will make it 10 and 10. Facts. Absolute facts. Yeah, Hoyson, man, would have been an unbelievable signing. With us missing out on Hoyson, man, we got so unlucky. Missing out on Dean Hoyson, didn't we? Yeah, Paris, hurry up, man, because they're being long. I think both Isak and Guehi will be deadline day signings. I think we get them both done still. I actually want to see what the poll's saying, actually. I asked, will Isak be a Liverpool player before the end of the window? 88% are saying yes. 12% no. So people are still confident. I watched Verts week in, week out last season. Trust me, if everything doesn't go through, in which it went under slot, you will never get the best out of him. Are you a Bayer Leverkusen fan? I know you've been a part of my channel for a while. I actually can't remember. No, because I always get confused because obviously you got Alonso as your profile pick. I can't remember if you're a Madrid fan or a Leverkusen fan. Verts withstood Trippier's study did get slapped to the floor by Bruno G. What? Because he got tackled, that means he doesn't have the physicality. I think Verts' movement was top tier, but he's not used to the pace and demands of the league. I think he will be a scary talent. He's up to speed and be able to play full 90 minutes. I agree. Oh, you watched him because of Leverkusen. So do you not think he's not going to be a success for us? Because I think he will be. I actually do. I still think he will be a success. The thing is, Florian Wirtz, a lot of it can go through him without him even touching the ball. Now, what I mean by that is, I've just seen a tweet from Paul Joyce. Stefan Bajcetic is set to stay at Liverpool and work on his slot and the coaching staff and continued on development. Talon Walter's move to Lyon and James McConnell's set to join Ajax on loan means Liverpool want Bajcetic to remain at the club and build on his performances while at loan at Las Palmas last season. He also counts as homegrown on the list for UEFA competition. McConnell joining Ajax on loan is a very good business for him because I think he's a talent. Obviously, Talon Morton's gone. I still have belief in Bajcetic. People calling him injury prone, I completely disagree. I mean, if we look at Bajcecic's numbers for Las Palmas, bearing in mind he joined at the second part of the season, so he played 14 games. For Salzburg, he played 6 games last season in the Champions League. He played 12 games, so he got about what's that, about 18 games there. No, he got 19 games for Salzburg. So he got over 30 plus games last season, but apparently this guy's injury prone. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes complete total sense. I don't think he's injury prone at all, or he's too old or anything like. He's 20 years old, for Christ's sakes. Same age as me. Like, what are we doing here? People are just so overreactive. Big up. I'm excited with the links of Hugo TK. Sky Sports Keys, Newcastle set to offer an improved for Larson, Isak and Dale would definitely improve us. Yeah, we definitely need to bring in centre backs. 1010%. We need to bring in centre backs. Chat, we are 16 likes from 100, man. Can we get 100 likes on the stream? If you've not seen, okay, now what the hell is this tweet? See, I respect IndyCar, right? You know, Sky Sports, everyone giving him, you know, massive plaudits. This is what he's just come out and tweeted. Like, this is where you go back to talking about KFC, mate. Exclusive, Trent Alexander-Arnold to lose his spot. Manchester City are now understood to be keeping an eye on the situation. What is this rubbish? Rodri can make instant 55 mil profit if sold in January. If Trent does lose his spot, then Manchester City can make a sensational bid for the player in January transfer window. Man City admired of Trent for a while, even reaching out to him twice in the past year. Once was during the summer when he was available on a free transfer, and back when he was still a youth player at Liverpool. He's not going to leave Real Madrid right now. And he's so... Oh, man. What is this? Yeah, mad. When do you think the bid will go in for Isak? Me, personally, I think we bid for him by Friday. Look, we know Liverpool work Fridays, chat, by the way. I'm just saying. Liverpool do work on Fridays. So, they do. They do work on Fridays. So, again, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, I think Friday we hear something big in my opinion. Let me get to the chat. Why would it actually shock people if the right went to City 2? Won't shock me at all now. Jabby loves Trent. This just makes me think that the journalists that brought the India account are hit and hope merchants like the most of them. I do think apparently the IndyCar news account is actually a big top tier. Apparently, it is one of the owners is a tier 1, and we associate tier 1s as what David Ornstein, Fabricio Romano. I think David Ornstein is a part of the account though. The way he credited it, you know what I mean? Madrid won't be selling Trent. Everything in Spain is from the press. They have horrible, terrible press over there. Yeah, exactly. Like, Trent ain't going to, as much as I think he's a rat, I don't think he would go to Manchester City. I don't. But I'm intrigued by Bastard staying. Because, again, I still think he's a talent, man. I really do. People saying he's not good enough. He's 20 years old, for Christ's sakes. Like, this is what James Pearce said. I'd say if Mark Guehi doesn't happen, then I don't get the impression that Liverpool will move on for another defender. Or flipping sign him then. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, buy Leverkusen. I mean, yeah. Yeah, we remember when we was linked to Botman. We should have signed him, but you could argue he's very injury prone. This is what Sky Sports Keith has had to say. Newcastle are expected to make an increased offer around 60 million for Wolves striker Jordan Strand Larson. No improved offer has gone in yet. Newcastle have seen 2 bids rejected. The latest was worth 55 million. Wolves boss Victor Pereira said, every player has a price. Wolves' position is that it's not for sale in the window, especially with such little time to get replacement. And obviously, that's just come in. I agree. I hope they can get him in. Let's hope I hope they can actually get this one over the line, Newcastle, man. Because I think these are the three scenarios, chat, before we wrap up about the Isak. Before we wrap up the stream. This is how I think it's going to go down, my official prediction. I'm going to give you scenario 1. Newcastle buy a player from now until the end of the window. Liverpool going with a bid. We get Isak. Number 2, I think by Friday or Saturday morning, Liverpool will get to a position where, look, we have given them weeks and weeks and weeks, stating all the way back to middle of July for the Isak situation, for them to get a replacement. I think genuinely by then, Liverpool will look at the situation and think, look, let's just go and just send a bid in. Option 3, if Newcastle do get any sort of player, I think we just simply bid. I'll be shocked if we don't bid. Whether that's Newcastle getting someone in, getting close to someone in, or getting no one in at all. I would be shocked if Liverpool don't put a bid in for him at all. Trent isn't a rat. People forget all the good stuff he did for Liverpool. Trent did wrong was the way he went about the transfers. Okay, he was signed for Liverpool. That deal would be more than guaranteed than Isak. Ball's close to selling another forward. Yep. Newcastle aren't big enough fish to attract big players. To be fair, they have signed good quality players over the years. You look at Bruno Guimaraes. I think they're probably the biggest statement signings they've made. I think Tonali was a big one. I think you could argue. What else would you put in there? I don't think you could say Bruno at the time. Isak at the time, you could say that was a really good signing as well. Gordon obviously had potential. You want to say Tonali is probably the biggest in terms of Mark Q, where everyone was like, wow, well, what a signing. Do you know what I mean? Footy check, Liverpool Echo, nothing to do with Footy. Massive news. Yeah, I've seen about that, though. Yeah, I've seen about the Liverpool Echo. To lose out to Man United on signings is embarrassing. Yeah, it's kind of, it's mad. Mad. But big up the chat, man. Big up the damn chat. I want to react to another clip before we go. Should we see if Keith Dowie has posted? Let's have a look. Has he done any videos? No, he hasn't done any videos, to be fair. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I've seen about it. Reacts, I'm not gonna lie. If McAllister gets injured, your midfield is done. Against Newcastle, you could see the difference. I think, again, the reason why we actually played so poorly, I actually mentioned it on my channel a few times, is due to the occasion. Liverpool tried to play the game and they got dragged into the emotion of the game. I'm not concerned about our midfield, to be honest. I think we get enough depth and I'm not worried. I mean, for me and Fozzie and Uncle and everyone chatted about it last night, about our thoughts and feelings about the midfield. I'm very content and happy. I would rather us wait a season and go and get Adam Water next year. Because I think if we bring in Isak and Guehi, chat, I think you could argue maybe one more midfielder and then this team is like, yo, good. Because goalkeepers department will be stacked. Next summer for me, I would probably say bring me in a midfielder or two. Adam Wharton. Simple as that. But yeah, big up the chat, man. We're 3 likes away from 90. So can we see if we can hit 90 likes on the stream. Also, we're so close to 2.23k with 4 subscribers away. So make sure if you click that subscribe button, stay up to date with the latest Liverpool content and news around the football club. Chat, I want to say thank you everyone so much for watching this stream. It's been a quality stream. Good hour and 15 minutes chat. I've got to go and do some important stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you guys over to Uncle Rod's. He's doing a Liverpool stream in about a minute or two. So yeah, big up to everyone watching. Make sure you go and say Footy Reacts TV raid. Yeah, man, big up to the chat as always. Chat, I will be back later with a transfer video. So if you want to watch that later on, you very much can. In terms of live streams, I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow morning and a live stream tomorrow night. Unfortunately, I can't be live for the Champions League draw because at the current time I will be at work, unfortunately. But I'm going to react to it live when I get back. So I'm going to try and stay off my phone. So I finish work at 8 o'clock tomorrow, right? The draw happens at 5. I'm going to try and stay off my phone the whole time, even on the way home. And then just go live, turn off the chat, and then react to the draw. I think that's what I'm going to do. But no, my luck, someone will ring me up and say, oh my God, you got Real Madrid at home. But yeah, chat, I can exclusively give you Real Madrid, Liverpool in the Champions League at Anfield. We know it's going to happen. I'll be shocked if we don't get Real Madrid. Shocked. If not, they're going to give us them in the round of the 16. So either way, Trent will be making his return to Anfield. I can already see it. But yeah, big up the chat. Hit the likes on your way out. 2 away from 90. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Make sure you go and say Footy Reacts TV raid over to Uncle. Take care, chat, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Peace.